Just a second, guys. Okay. Let me just put the text on the screen here. Okay. I apologize for being late tonight. I took the grandchildren to a minor league hockey game in Danbury, Connecticut. So I must say they don't play as well as the actual NHL. Any way, shape, or form. Okay, so not that I watched the NHL many years, but so we are on Daf hey Hammond base. Yeah, Zarka Halacha Gimel, Zarka Emin. Okay, Zarka Emin. Lushus Arabi, Bahara. Somebody tossed the stone, Shus Arabi, and killed. I raised the goal, he asked on the goals. So the Gemara said, the Mishnah says, it was the Yaakov Omer, Imishi depends, Imishotza Evan, Imirashuso. Oh, wait a second, I think we did this actually. No, we're up to Vav Amar. No, we're not. Sorry, this is what up to. Okay, so the no, 7. Yeah, that is we're up to Vav. Sorry, my mistake. Up to Halacha Hey. Okay, of Gola Ayidei Beno, Vaben Ayidei of. So the bishop says the of goes through a son, and the son goes through a father. Hakol golin ayidei Yisrael, Yisrael golin ayideim. Everybody goes by Yisrael, Yisrael goes through them. Chutz mi ayidei ger toishav. Ger toishav is an exception to the rule. The ger toishav ayidei ger toishav. Ger toishav Yisrael kills the ger toishav. He doesn't go into Golus. The ger toishav kills Yisrael. He's by Misa. A ger toishav who kills another ger toishav does have the right to go to an Ir Mikvot. Hasuma. You guys know what Ger Toshav is?
Yeah, we just did this last week, the Mishnah.
Okay, good. Okay, so what's Ger Toshav?
A guy who accepts upon himself to keep the Shabbat Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, he can live in Eretz Yisrael. And
very good. Except, according to Rashi, in several places in Shas, it's mashma that the Ger Toshav is somebody who's makabel not to eat tarfus. That's which is a very strange definition. But anyway, that's not, no, you're right. According to Ram, that's what it means. I'm sorry, he's Makabel, no, sorry. He's Makabel not to be Oived Azora. He still eats tarfus. He's not Makabel not to be Oived Azora. So the question is, obviously, any Ben Noach is Mechim not to be Oived Azora. So I wrote an article once, I think it was on Makkos, maybe it's on a different Masechta. So the which is that according to a regular goy is allowed, according to us Ashkenazim, although according to Spartan it's not necessarily true. When Ashkenazim, a regular goy is allowed to be Oived Avodah B'shituf, meaning that he is allowed to serve many gods as long as one of the gods is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, for example, the Christians who worship the Trinity, right? They have 3 gods: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So for the Rambam holds Avodah Zarah, holds it is Avodah Zarah because they have 3 gods. But the Tosfos says that it's not Avodah Zarah because one of them is the right one. The Father is the right God. And the extreme example of that would be the Indians. The Indians, I think, have several million gods. The Hindus have several million gods, but one of them, who's I believe called Brahmin or Ram, depending on different sects, I think have different names for him probably, but he is supposed to be our God. Says in Tehillim, Ram Makovim Hashem, right? So Ram, the god Ram, which they have, is supposed to be our God. So even though they have several million other gods, it doesn't mean I think they have 22 million other gods, but it doesn't matter because one of them is the right one. And according to that, when the ancient Greeks and ancient Romans, Zeus and Jupiter were identified with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and many other gods besides. And then another problem is that they gave God a goof and Musa goof. But the point is that as long as one of the gods is the right one, that you're okay. Al Shem Mitzvah Noach. But if you want to be a Ger Toishav, then you have to accept that there is only one God. In other words, that you're not allowed to be able to Zara B'Shituf anymore. Okay, so I think is the definition according to Rashi in several places of the Ger Toishav, and there's several rights for that. But in any event, so Ger Toishav does have certain rights. We know that it says B'chai Bohem by a Ger that you're supposed to be B'chai and not B'chai Bohem. That's the puzzle. You're supposed to be B'chai Ger Toishav. So presumably that's part and parcel of keeping it alive is that if he kills B'shoigeg, another Ger Toishav, and go to an Mikvah. Okay, a Suma in a Goyla, Diva Rabbi Yehuda. So a Suma, a person who's blind doesn't go to Golos, going to Rabbi Yehuda. Mer Goler, right? It says he does go to Golos. So obviously Suma would not go to Golos because he's Karblainis. The Pasuk says, below Ra'ois, not the Suma. Somebody who could see and didn't see goes to Golos, but somebody who couldn't see, he doesn't go to Golos. On the other hand, a son ain't a Goler. A son ain't a Goler because he's Karblainis. Because he hates the guy, so therefore we are concerned that he actually killed him deliberately. He doesn't go to Golos. I skipped. Sorry. Assuming I go to Rabbi Yehuda, Mer Goyler. Mer says does go to Golos. Asone ain't no Goyler. Rabbi Yehuda Mer Asone Nerag. If somebody kills somebody else and they hated them beforehand, they put to death. Why? Because he's regarded as a muad. Even though he didn't get a straw, by definition, we assume he did it deliberately. Shimon Omer, Yesh Sonei Goyel, Yesh Sonei Shreina Goyel. It depends. Not every Sonei goes to Goyel. Some Sonei do go to Goyel. Not every Sonei is exempt from Goyel. Koshu Yecholim Aladas Harag, Eino Goyel. If it's possible to say that he could kill deliberately, a Taka doesn't go to Goyel because it's kind of amazing. Shalodas Harag, if he killed without intent, that's clear cut. I raise the goal, then he does go to goals. I'm Rabbi Zero. Says Gemara. I'm Rabbi Zero. Tana Rabbi Shila Barbuno. Klapesh Temar Goel Hadam. Who, right? Yamisa Sorotseach. So who is a mute? Goel Hadam. Who Yamisa Sorotseach is a mute. So what is it, Mike? Haremi Shihika as Beno. Somebody who kills his son. So the who Yamisa tells us that if a father killed Reuven, his son, Yaakov killed Reuven, his son, then Shimon does not become the Goel Adam to kill Yaakov. Is that in the Bavli too? I don't think that's in the Bavli. But if Reuven had killed Shimon, then then Levi would become the Goel Adam to kill Reuben. So it's the mute is Memait, only a son vis-a-vis the father, but not a brother vis-a-vis another brother. So since it says Goel Adam Yamisa Otzeach, Aremishik is Beno. He says the opposite. Somebody who hit his son, that Itaka works. But Aval Achshika Achiv, if a brother kills another brother, Ein Achiv Asheni Nasa Goldam Lamisas Achiv. So the second brother does not become a Goel Adam. So the exact opposite. So the question is who is Memite? The word who is Memite another son, or is Memite from being a Goel Adam on the father? Is Memite the brother from being a Goel Adam on the brother? So if you look at the Tzin Yerushalayim, that little zigzag over here, the zigzag over here, the zigzag sign goes to the Tzin Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is at the bottom of the page, and he says, "Ein achiv hasheni nasa go adam." Be passionate advarim tzarich im b'shmuel beis siman yud dalet. Let's take a book in Shmuel beis siman yud dalet and see what it says there. No, that's not it. No, not Shmuel. No, it was wrong. Okay, so yeah, so the Ishat Kois, Yoav hired the Ishat Kois to complete his case in David after Yoav killed Avshalom, and David was very upset that Yoav killed his son Avshalom. So he said, I have the Ishat Kois came to the king, and she bowed down, and she said, "Hoshia Melech, help me." The king said to Malach, "What's your problem?" I'm a woman by almost my husband died. She was slash nebanim. Your maidservant had two sons. I know to name beside them, they both fought in the field. They might still be named. Nobody was there to stop them. One hit the other, but them his son, he killed him. The whole family got up against me. When they said, so they said, let's kill the brother who killed his brother. So and we'll also destroy the heir. In other words, there's only one brother left. So he said if they kill my last son because he killed his brother, I won't have any. My husband will not have any descendants anymore. David HaMelech said to the woman, I need somebody like. Call him and I'll figure out what to do. So she said something nice to him, and it's my problem, not it's not yours. Bring the person speaking to me, who's bothering you to me, and he won't bother you anymore. Make sure they don't kill my son. So I promise that your son will not be hurt. So anyway, there's this whole discussion here, and I'm not sure exactly what's bothering the Tzin Yerushalayim, because yes, we're talking about a Goel Adam coming and killing a relative, because obviously the one brother killed another brother, but it's not. We're talking about a third brother. So I don't know what's bothering here. Somehow the Tzin Yerushalayim is being bothered by the fact that the woman was being bothered by her relatives, that they should set up a Goel Adam to kill her other son. From our Gemara, it says that one brother doesn't become a Goel Adam on the other brother, but it's not comparable. Right here in our Gemara, it's about the pasuk. It's about a case where they are it's other family members. So I don't know what it's bothering him, but somehow it bothered Tzin Yerushalayim. Anyway, back to our sugya. Uminaya feel amar she'eni yachol lakbilo, and even as we have another, even say he can't be makbil him. What does that mean? It says Kami yachsib pagabo shomer ani dafkin pagabo miyad. I only know that a goal adam has to be has a small window of opportunity immediately after the Maisa happens. How do the Goldam can't get him right away? He should lay an ambush for him for years and years and years afterwards if need be. So this who is superfluous. And we're learning as a ribui. Even before we learned as a mute, here we're learning as a ribui. It's not clear why it should be that way, but that's it says Pigabo hu yemi senu. So the hu yemi senu is what's teaching us that even after a long time. So like I said, it's right there because before we said who was a mute, it says only not the son or not the brother, depending on who we apply the mute to. And then here we're saying that who is a ribui means that you can kill him even after a long time has passed. So let's see the Shai Torah's Eretz Yisrael. This is Shai Torah Yisrael has a different shot here. It says here. Okay. So Klapesh Nemar Goel Hadam Hu Yamisa Otzeach Bepigo Bo. Okay, it says that the Goel Hadam should kill the Rotzeach. The stress is on not the stress is Pigo Bo, right? The word Pigo Bo, and Minayin Afil Amar. It says Umash Ben Asayim Yusam Nechba Milamala. Okay, so he says what it says in the middle of the Gemara over here that I'm not sure what he's referring to here. Okay, so yeah, so he said so if you look at it, look back in the Gemara a minute. The oops, so what Shai so says is Yaakov, take out. He says take this all out because all this is a repetition of what it says before in the reverse order, and he doesn't like that for some reason. I don't know how he knows that Yaakov doesn't argue what it said before, but he takes it out. He says Yaakov klape. It should be klape. Yeah. Oops. Okay. Uminayin, take out the rest and said, I feel much in other words, take out the whole thing about the brothers versus the father. That's how Yaakov. His point is, when I pay to be punch because of Pico near Shapoko punning upon him. He beat him face to face. Nice you go down and Harry the Goladam, even though he can't stand up to him face to face. I know it can come from the stab it in the back. In other words, I might think it has to be a fair fight. It says Picobo. So Picobo means when they come face to face. How I know, and I can't lay an ambush and try and sabotage him. So Hamulamar hu yemisenu. Perish yomisoso b'chol over shiocha filim echol. He's let come any way he can, even from behind. Okay, so it's really not the emphasis, not the word who. Word is on yemisenu. And that way we don't have the problem we have with the name Moshe that, well, before who was a mute and now who was a ribui, for who taught us to exclude either the brother or the son, whichever way it goes. And now we're saying who is a ribui that he can kill him even much later on, not necessarily right away. No, Pico Bo doesn't mean right away. Pico and Bo would mean when they meet each other, poking each other. I might say he has to kill in a fair fight, face to face. That's what it says. Who Yimisenu? Yimisenu is Taki used elsewhere to teach us that so here too it said if you can kill if you have to kill him by coming up behind him, shoot him in the back. The goal that was allowed to shoot him in the back. So I think that's a very nice shot. So again, it changes. It eliminates the problem with the word who. Okay. Vasuma. Let's go back to the Gemara. Vasuma. All right, Rabba. Mantana Suma. Who is the one who teaches Suma? Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda pocha mikol Mr. Samuas B'Torah. As you might have learned elsewhere, Rabbi Yehuda assumes part of all the mitzvahs in the Torah. The Gemara appears a couple of places in the Bavli that Rabbi Yosef used to make a su'uda when somebody would tell him that halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, because Rabbi Yosef was a summa, he was blind, and yet he did all the mitzvahs. And initially he thought that Gadol Misha Eino Mitzuva V'Aisa, somebody is not required to do mitzvahs and does the mitzvahs is greater than a person's Mitzuva V'Aisa. And then he learned the statement, Gadol Mitzuva V'Aisa, Otsa Yosef Misha Eino Mitzuva V'Aisa. He greater is a person who is commanded to do a mitzvah and does it more than a person who's not commanded to do a mitzvah and does it, more than a volunteer. And then he started making a suda for anybody who told him that halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda. Halacha is a suma is chayv mitzvahs. And that is the source for sudas bar mitzvah. The sudas bar mitzvah is a suda becoming chayv mitzvahs, and the source of it is the suda that Rabbi Yosef made when he found out, when somebody would tell him that halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda, but rather a suma is chayv mitzvahs. Okay, so Rabbi Yehuda Patas assume comments in Muslim Torah. The Tniyat Salmon went over there. A couple places in Shas here brings down from Megillah site. I think it's in Brachos too. Anybody who never saw who was blind from birth, never saw the sun and the moon, he can't be motzi the kilo with Yotzar over Choshech also Shomer Esakol. He can't have that because he doesn't have that nov or Paimroe Pores. But if he ever saw, then he can be Pores al Leshma. Okay, so that's what he says here. Suma praise the Shema. Ava beat shop. I'm reading the Moshe. Suma praise the Shema. Kabi shein roem oros yesh la noami no oros. That's the shita of Rabbanan, because he gets pleasure from the Maor. Famous Gemara. Shemnei Adam roem oso matzilin oso minam yishol. And people see him and they save him at night from falling into pits, because they see him and they see the pit. Right? If he ever had anah, he can be Paris Shema. Right? If it's just if he never had anah, and he's still made Paris. But he saw, and then he got blind, he is Paris. Who should he? It's a question. But it sounds like Rabbi Yehuda asuma is chayv mitzvahs. It's just that asuma miyamav, kol yamav, can't be motzi somebody who actually has to be yotze with yotzar or choshech. But somebody who once did see the or, he can be motzi. Hi, he's asuma now, so how can he be motzi? Right? So as it says, it's a question which is not answered here. Well, it's either come on so later on. Masik fresh tampluk time masik sedacha, but the masik kusha. In the meantime, we're going to explain what's going on in Mishnah, and then we're going to come back to the question afterwards. So in the meantime, let's go back to our Mishnah. Says we say, well, I should read this again. Then we leave it dangling. Now, concerning our Mishnah, this is both there's the same person. It says below rose, come upon your friend without seeing. Rabos is a suma. It includes a suma. In other words, somebody you can't see, including somebody you can't see because he's blind. It excludes a suma. Because a suma is a somebody who could have seen. and doesn't see. That's somebody who couldn't see. The man seems to contradict himself. Now here the Moshe changes the names. He says over here, the Chavish does Rabbi Yehuda Garcia, okay, Megillah Bashta Mesik Lakusha. So now we're coming back to the question before. So we should say here, Mechavish Tasid Rabbi Yehuda. Talmud Omer Prat. The way to say Prat. Maslis and Mais Lasuma, they no go to Pat Mitzvah. So I want to remind you, I think I've said this before. Tamon, Hacha and Tamon in the Bible, they always mean here and there. Hacha is here, Tamon is there. Hacha is this sugya, Tamon is the other sugya. In Yerushalmi, it could mean that. But very often it's the exact opposite. Tamon means here and Hacha means there. So it gets confusing in the Yerushalmi because sometimes when it says Tamon, it really means here. In other words, somebody is speaking from the perspective of the other sugya. For him, here is there and there is here. That's what happens here. It's happening here as well. Here, it's not too confusing. It says, Rabbi Yehuda, Tamon, meaning here, who Omer Prat. He says the summa is excluded from Golus. The Ka, right, the over there by Shema, right, who Omer L'Rabos. It says it includes a summa, right? Summa can be motzi if he, as long as not summa kol yomov. Amachina braid Rabbi Hillel b'yosher b'ais ofel maslisa. So he says that the Mishnah over there, the b'yosher b'ais ofel. How to come out shlora amoros miyomov labasuma mamish. Somebody's actually blind his entire life. Somebody's actually blind, he was not blind his entire life, can't be motzi. Here we're talking about a special case. Eliyosha Bais Ofel. There was somebody who never left a dark house his entire life. When she know Bimara, so she was born in a cave. So that case, it's not a really blind person. When Maria says a blind person who saw Moros Miyama, it's not that person who's really actually blind. The person actually blind now can't be moti because he's not chayav mitzvahs. It's potter. Who is Rabbi Yehuda referring to? It's referring to somebody who once upon who can see, but he's been in a dark house. So if he's in a dark house his entire life, he can never reach me. If he's in a dark house now, but in the past he wasn't in a dark house, then he can reach me. So in Economy, maybe Rabbi Yehuda holds that a summa is excluded from being Goel Dam, and he's plural excluded from all mitzvahs in the Torah. The person Rabbi Yehuda said depends whether he can see now or not. That's a person who was sitting with Bais off. Okay, that's what it says. So that's how we say. Hayoshev. Ayoshe b'bayis ofel leivas Shema. That's true. Well, blaros. Well, here it says rabos is asuma. It's really should be the part of the suma because we should have to change it because it's according to Rabbi Yehuda. It says the suma doesn't have go down. So ma'amekar rabbanim below raos. So if that rabbanim below that a summa is chayav in gold, it is chayav to go to golus, right? So what is Mamakai Babla Rose? Levi Samaka Balayla. It's a reboy. It comes to teach us that somebody who kills comes at night, even though he's handicapped with that he couldn't see, it's not like he still has to go into golus. So summa has to go to golus, and below os means to include even somebody who at night. It's their extenuating circumstances. Still, he also has golus as well. So before we stop, I just want to show you. So there's a different gear. So here, okay. So he says, "Vasuma Rabbi Ba Man Tana Suma Rabbi Yehuda." So I'm Vasuma Arba Tani Bechena Rabbi Yehuda Pochik Mitzvah Murz Baton. He would pass it for all mitzvahs Murz Baton. Talmud he went over there. Rabbi Yehuda Mer Koshlo Ramos Miyama B'Chulei Paimra Poris. Mechavish that's Rabbi Yehuda. Just like Moshe changed the gears to made Rabbi Yehuda. He says here as well, but then he says Tam Numer, it's Potter. So instead of saying Prat, right? The Armish says Tam Numer Prat. He says the Tam Numer Potter, Perish Kol Mitzvahs. The Kolmar Chayev. So again, the idea is that when Yehuda says assume it's Potter Kol Mitzvahs, that here he says he's Chayev in if he's roused Morris Miyamav, he's Chayev in Shema and in Yosef Rechosha. Amrachir Be'il Chulei Chayosh Ba'Yisrael Lo Yifros Shema. Peir Zeshu Morris Yosef Ba'Yisrael Lo Yifros B'Tmiyah. Right. He's sorry, not as a statement, but as a question. I've assumed I feel Ra Morris Eino Pares. Right. Why what's the difference? My tabira below raos lahotzi es hasuma. So he says that below raos comes to suma pashkas shall pi mikra lo ra'a al efshar liros. So the way he's learning that means that below raos is really the source for somebody who's not who's somebody who's not Yosh by Sofel is could be porous, even if he's Yosh by Sofel now, because he once saw. But Asuma not. Why not? Asuma I feel Moros, even though he saw in the past in porous from our pasuk. So according to the Rishayim, so our pasuk below Raos is teaching us that a suma is part from all mitzvahs, right? Because somebody who was because by coincidence, by accident, didn't see. He's chayev in goes, but somebody, but it has to be somebody who could have seen, but somebody who could never saw, somebody who can't see because he's a suma. Sorry, even he could see once upon a time. Somebody who can't see now, he's parted from goes, and Mimela, he's parted from all mitzvahs some words but Torah. Rabban, of course, who disagrees, so they say, well, a suma is chayev in all mitzvahs. Why suma? So what's you also going to golos? What's the kiddush here below rows? So they're going to teach us something else altogether that even at night your chayav goes. But anyway, according what the Shaitas is doing, say that below raos is the source. Rabbi Yehuda say that a suma is part of the comments in some words b'Torah. According to the way we have the gears in our Gemara, it's not so clear, right? According to our Gemara, it says Bram Hoch below raos rabos is a suma, or the leaf source pat l'suma. According to Rabbi Yehuda, change the way the gears. So it doesn't really go on the rest of the Torah, but according to the way all the Torah, as soon as possible, is not from below rows over here. Okay, I hope that was somewhat clear. And we'll stop here for today, and see you in Hashem tomorrow.
Thanks, Rabbi.
Have a good night.